Hi, I'm Annie. The setup's a little different today because I wanted to make this video, but I didn't want to stop working. This is what I do a lot of days, is make this ceramic jewelry for my handmade business. These are gauged earrings that are made out of stoneware. They're just made out of clay, so extremely breakable. This is very delicate work. So I'm sitting at my workstation. There's like a little kitchenette here. This ugly yellow color is like, what's this stuff called? The lamination, like cheap lamination. I don't know. I didn't install it. It was here when I got here. It's kind of ugly. Anyway, what I want to talk about is something that I posted on the Objective Personality class community thing on Facebook. So anyway, the question was, is it harder to say no or to hear no? And I just got like a selection of responses to that question. Overwhelmingly, people said it was harder to hear no. And I feel the opposite from that. So I feel like it's harder to say no. I've been just sort of like reflecting on why that is. Part of the reason is that I can't really remember when I've been told no. It's like I have this weird amnesia about it. So I want to talk about the different reasons why that is. But when I try to think of when was I told no, I ask my printer, hey printer, will you print this page for me? No. Hello, Monday. Can we get through today without a forced operating system update? No. It's all this observer stuff that, like, is frustrating, but it just happens all the time. I mean, printers often don't print. Computers often don't do what I ask them to do. The answer is no a lot of times from the physical world or, computers and technology. The answer is often no. I don't know. It just seems boring and mundane. I can't remember a person telling me no, although they probably have, like you have a crush on someone and they don't want to be with you. So that's a no. But I think in those cases, those aren't super specifically memorable because they just are in the past. And I sort of have this feeling that things happen the way that they should. And my attitude when I like someone and they don't like me back, like when I was younger, my attitude was one that I know the right thing to do is to respect what they want. I mean, it's useless. It's a waste of my energy to want something when the answer is no. And then other times, like major opportunities or something, I was trying to think, like, did I apply for a job that I didn't get? Or did I apply for some kind of opportunity that I didn't get? And I literally just couldn't think of anything. And I don't know if it's because there really isn't anything like that, or if I just have like a weird amnesia about it. It turns out it didn't matter. It turns out that was the right thing. And I just moved on. I think I've gotten every job I've ever applied to. And I really don't apply to them. I haven't applied to any jobs unless I was pretty confident that I was a good candidate for that position. I've mostly been self-employed, so I haven't worked very many places. But I was thinking of one thing in my past. I've explained this before. It's a little bit confusing. I have this office space here. It's where I'm currently doing artwork for my Etsy store. And then I also practice massage therapy here. Since the pandemic came, I gave up my downtown office and I'm just working here. I go next door to eat and sleep. That's where my partner is, and play with the dogs. So it's kind of like living side by side, except that I sleep and eat over there. I used to, for a brief period of time, just live with him next door. This space was not available where I am now. Over there, next door, is about 400 or maybe 420 square feet. Really, really small. And it was hard. I mean, my possessions, my clothing, and just the few things that I own don't even fit in that space. So I was like storing my clothes outside and everything. The guy that lived in this property here, he was moving and he was gonna rent out the entire house, the main house, and this little back space where I am now, which is kind of like a converted garage. He was actually a ceramic artist as well and converted this into a workspace. He wasn't renting this separately, but I told my partner, who was sort of, buddies with him, had been his neighbor for a long time, hey, ask him if he'll rent out that office separately so I can do my work there. My partner said, no, I mean, if he wanted to rent it out separately, then he would do that. That's what he would do. And I said, well, like, just ask him. And it turned out to be beneficial for everyone involved. I ended up getting to live here, and then the people in the main house got reduced rent. It's actually a really good price. So the guy who owns the house got more, but everyone using the space was able to pay less. And I've been here for a long long time, over 10 years. I never thought I would be here this long. I remember one night in my sleep around that time when I lived in the tiny place with my partner next door, I had the idea of living here. And it wasn't just the idea that I wanted to live here, it was that I wanted to and I knew that I would. But back then, there was more desperation and fear all around. And so just the thought of wanting to be here kind of scared me. Part of me knew that I would be here and that it would make a lot of things better. But I immediately came in and doubted that knowing and felt sort of desperate and clinging to it. Like, I need to be here. I need to be in that space. That needing feels really scary. It's like you want something so bad. It just feels desperate. And I feel sort of superstitious. Like, if I ever want something that bad, it's kind of like a setup for danger. Because what if you don't get it? I mean, are you really going to allow yourself to be devastated by not getting something that you think you want, you believe you want it? When in reality, if I didn't get this place, it would probably be because it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't right. It was, something else better might have come. And so I felt this really conflict about it. But in my life, I've noticed that dynamic a lot over and over again, so that now I just don't really want things desperately. I might send a wish out into the universe, but I know that I'm okay if I don't get it, and maybe there's something better. If I don't get that opportunity, I'll get a different opportunity. I will exist in some form somewhere, or I won't. I'll either live another 2 weeks or I won't. I just can't know that. And it's sort of like a waste of time to want things desperately. You can want things in kind of an easy, soft, open way, and you can work towards things. But if they don't happen, maybe they were never going to happen, and it's not really your fault, and there's no point in being devastated by it. I have some fear right now about the housing market. My partner just inherited some money, but we can't touch it. We can't buy a house, even though that's what we would like to do because the market's so bad. My NE brain is thinking of all the things that could go wrong. And I'm thinking the guy that owns this house, after all these years, over 10 years, he might finally want to sell it. I've thought in the past, if he sells this property, maybe I'll buy it. But in this market, I can't. He's going to want that California money if he decides to sell this place. He can get a lot of money for it right now because the values are really high. And I can't compete with that. I can't outbid another buyer that just has a lot more money to spend. So I have some anxiety. I'm about to start this training program. I have an opportunity to start this coach training program. And when I was looking into it and studying it, I wanted it. Like I was like, yeah, I want to do that. But I also immediately had this feeling like I want to do that. It seems unattainable, but I'm going to keep looking into it and investigating it because maybe there's some way that it is possible. If it isn't, if I can't have this opportunity that I think that I want, then maybe that's okay. Maybe there's some reason, or I can learn what I want to learn in some other way without going to this program that's kind of expensive. I felt very relaxed about it, not afraid of hearing a no, just sort of open to let it happen as it is going to happen. And it turns out there is a way, and I'm going to do this coaching program, which is pretty cool because in the last year, I've actually had a few coaching opportunities that just sort of fell into my lap. Some people asked me if I would coach them through some different issues, and that all just sort of happened naturally. I would like some training. I would like to be sure that if I take more of these opportunities that I've got tools and I'm doing it responsibly. And I think I'm going to learn a lot from this program that I'm about to undertake. It'll last about 9 months and be kind of a immersive, intensive program. And I'll get a lot more coaching opportunities. So I'll be coaching a lot more in the next year. If the answer had been no, I would be fine. I'm excited and driven to pursue goals and work towards goals. But then if things just don't happen and aren't going to happen, I sort of feel okay about it. So for me, it's harder to say no. And I've talked about this a little bit in other videos. I just don't feel very assertive. So I do set boundaries and I will say no, but I don't feel good inside when I do it. I don't feel settled inside myself when I say no. It's sort of an angsty feeling for me. So my answer to that question is that it's a lot harder to say no, even though I do say no. I'm not the kind of person that, overextends. I don't overextend myself. I take care of myself. I know what I can reasonably give, and I'm happy to give what I can reasonably give. And if I just don't have it in me, I don't run myself into the ground saying yes to a whole bunch of situations when it's not really appropriate. I say no. It just doesn't feel good inside of myself. I feel conflicted. So for me, it's harder to say no. Just wondering what you guys think. I mean, the overwhelming answer that I got from so many people was that it was harder to hear no. Yeah, that just doesn't have a lot of charge for me. You know, like if you get sick, like if I got cancer, that's a big no. That's like, life telling you. In a way, it's like life telling you no. No, you can't have your health. And I'm not sure how I would react, but I don't think resisting against it would help much at all. I think it would be more like opportunities come that change us and push us to the next level and challenge us to grow. And something really difficult like cancer can be one of those things if you allow it to be. But if you just resist and fight against it, yeah, and I'm not diminishing. I'm sure it's hell. Like it's not easy, but I think your attitude about it when you're going through it kind of, can make a difference. It's kind of objectively shitty and painful, but it can feel much worse because of your attitude, because you're resisting against it. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. I wonder what you guys think. Does it feel harder to hear no or to say no? That's all for now.